It's a building with a big personality.
It's a unique place.
It's one of Glasgow's hidden secrets.
It brings together the importance of what it has historically, but then also has a lot of contemporary relevance in the art world as well.
I think it works on a lot of levels for a lot of different people.
There's nowhere else like it. It's a completely unique venue and a unique concept.
I was the chap who had the daft idea in 1988 to build from Mackintosh's original drawings.
Mackintosh did the drawings in 1901 for a competition for a German magazine. Unfortunately, he was disqualified because he didn't submit enough detailed drawings.
However, his folio with all his designs circulated widely throughout Europe and was influential on a great many other artists and architects at that time.
With other buildings you see a compromise between architect, client and cost. Here, because it's a competition, it's him just going for it.
I had my office in a building with a lot of Mackintosh in it, so I became an enthusiast for Mackintosh. I found my way to the Hunterian Gallery, where they keep a lot of the archives, and I was able to have a good look at a competition folio. And as I opened this folio and looked down at it, I saw this room. So I picked that out and I looked at it and I said, this has got to be built.
The House for an Art Lover is now what it is. It's a success story and it's a matter of pride for me, because when we started out, thoughts were maybe not as hopeful as they should have been. The fact that there was some cynicism about the potential success of the venture, that was a challenge to make it work. And here we are, and I'm proud of that.
There was a lot of controversy.
People wondered if you could actually create a Mackintosh design of a building that was never built.
People have come to realise what it is, and we always stress that this is a research project. It's not a Mackintosh building. It's a study of a Mackintosh design. And as a continuing study, we will keep working on it.
I'm glad to say that they've gradually come round and accepted that this is a genuine contribution to Mackintosh's heritage.
My favourite spot here would definitely be the oval room up in the Mackintosh suite. I think it's just a lovely room. There are seats at the window, which would be really quite nice to be able to kind of go in there, tuck your legs up with a nice book and nobody would be able to find you.
My favourite spot in the house is actually the view, which is upstairs, because it's a real surprise. Well, to me it was anyway. When I first came to see the house, I was very aware of the Mackintosh side of it and the cafe and everything downstairs, but I didn't realise that the view even existed. And when I first went up and saw it, I was just blown away by this completely different contemporary space that's just so different to everything else that's happening downstairs.
I always think the main hall gets overlooked because it's without that space, that's the space that actually frames your experience of all the other rooms. It kind of prepares you for the music room, which is very bright by kind of having a very cool, kind of muted feel to it. But without that, none of it works, so it kind of holds it all together.
My favourite part of House for an Art Lover today is probably not within the main building, but probably the studio pavilion, which we constructed in the Arts and Heritage Centre about 2 years ago. It's a great space, but I love the rest of the house too, of course.
My favourite spot in House for an Art Lover is in the studio pavilion, and it's a mirror just up there. There's 4, and it makes the beams and the roof look like they're extending on beyond the walls, and it's a feature that I quite enjoy pointing out to people, so that's definitely my favourite part of House for an Art Lover.
It's not just about Charles Randy Mackintosh. It's not just about second guessing what he might have done had he lived to supervise the building and equipping of that. It's also about drawing people into this multiplicity of activities from heritage and culture. The other factor that's probably the most recent one is the building of this building, the Studio Pavilion. And I go to great pains to tell people that this is not a gallery. It looks like a gallery, it feels like a gallery, it tastes like a gallery. And we're getting top-class artists now to want to show their work in here, so it must be a gallery. But it wasn't designed as a gallery, it was designed as a studio. And it was designed as a studio in the manner of the studios in the first floor of the School of Art.
The context of the Macintosh origination of House for an Art Lover in terms of the main building is incredibly interesting. In terms of a brief for a studio type space, we looked at the art school, the best studios in the world.
I think the biggest developments within the next 20 years will be down here in Art Park, where we have the Studio Pavilion, the Heritage Centre, the art studios and the art sheds.
For an architect, what I think is incredibly interesting working for House for an Art Lover, certainly at this particular moment, is their absolutely consolidated arts development strategy and the use of Bellahouston Park in the context of Glasgow Art Park.
I used to come here for lunches with my mother and her partner, so when I was here I picked up the brochure from the table and it's been just a great revelation to me. I couldn't draw anything, I didn't do art at school, and now I'm absolutely fanatical.
Done? No. What happened?
House for an Art Lover supports a lot of artists by giving them bursaries once they graduate, so they get money to come here and develop their practice while exploring different themes and aspects of the house. And I don't think people realise just how much support that we give to new artists, particularly ones that have just graduated from art school.
Basically, the project I'm working on is a community partnership building project that's working with different organisations in southwest Glasgow to build a structure, which is here, which is basically, it represents a pavilion for 2016. So looking at kind of the importance of Bellahouston Park for the Empire exhibition.
And this is the Heritage Centre, and it's a series of rooms. These were the stables of what was Ibrox Hill House, which was on the footprint of where House for an Art Lover is. This was a stable, another stable at the other end, U-shape, and in between the two is a ducat. And each room has a different theme to it.
This room has a lot about the local area to Bellahouston Park, about Govan. This room's about shipbuilding in Govan, specifically in the 1960s. House for an Art Lover means to me a wonderful place to come to work in the morning and a valuable way for me to get work experience within the arts.
Something you didn't know about House for an Art Lover. House for an Art Lover was voted one of the top 10 gallery eating spaces in the world by the Taste magazine, and we were also voted as one of the top 50 wedding venues by the Independent newspaper.
It really is a special thing to have your wedding at House for an Art Lover, because it's Charles Macintosh and it's Glasgow, and it's something that's so special to the city, but also to the couple, because there's nothing quite like it. There's nowhere else that you can sit in a room having your wedding meal absolutely surrounded by Macintosh work. People can come here, they can have their wedding day, and they don't have to add anything to it, because the house in itself is such a special backdrop.
Looking back, I would say it was the process of realizing a dream. I would like to see it attracting more visitors from all over the world, adding to the reputation of Macintosh and to the attractions of Glasgow.
I think we've contributed something to the cultural life of Scotland, and that gives me pleasure.